Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right, guys, it's still Friday the 13th of March, and it's now 11:30 p.m. I'm going to pick right up from where I left off in the last video, which is now uploading. So let's go, and let's get into it. All right. Here I am. And I wanted to be sure to update you guys on Xander. Xander is feeling so much better. He's still limping, but the pain seems to be okay. He's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed again, and he's able to jump on smaller, like he can't jump way up anymore, but, well, I'm sure he will after he mends, but he can't now. And but he is doing so much better, and I'm so relieved, because there's something about watching your pets in pain that absolutely rips your heart out. So I am very, very grateful for that. Very grateful. All right, and thank you guys for all your prayers. I really appreciate it. All right. It says, don't believe the numbers you see. John Hopkins professor says up to 500,000 Americans have CV. And I don't doubt it, because, you know, if you're not testing, then you don't know. I mean, and you could be in the hospital, breathing difficulties or whatever, and not know that you have the virus, and it could be misdiagnosed as the flu or as pneumonia. So until we're testing large scale, we're not going to know what the numbers are. And that means that people are circulating around that have the virus, and they don't know it. And they might give it to someone else who also is circulating around and doesn't know that they have it yet. So it is something that I know everybody is saying, and I'm really getting tired of it, because so many people are saying, oh, it's a hoax, it's all fake. No, it isn't, because the rest of the entire world would have to be in on the hoax, really. And all the videos coming out from Italy, Iran, China, all these places, they'd have to all have been faked, all of them. It's ridiculous to me. I mean, it's ludicrous. Now, yes, I understand there's more people that have died with the flu so far than the CV. However, so far, this has a much higher mortality rate and infection rate. It's got a much higher rate of infection. So yeah, I don't think these people are thinking through some of these things that they're saying, because we're taking precautions now so we don't get like China, Wuhan. Now, I don't know. I don't know why people are saying this. It's like, oh, they're overhyping it. Personally, I don't think they're hyping it enough. I think people should have been already prepared by now. There should not be long lineups outside of a Costco. I mean, they've shut the Costco down here. And, you know, there should not be that. I mean, if people had listened and paid attention with what was happening over there, and knowing this world is very small now, we can be around the world in a matter of hours. Well, maybe not around the world, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's just a matter of hours between the virus getting on a plane and coming here. So, yeah, I mean, we should have already been prepared. We should have already had the test kits ready to go. This should have been done. And if the Democrats weren't so busy focusing on impeaching a president over nothing, there was nothing of substance in those impeachment articles. If they hadn't been so focused on that, maybe it would have allowed the president to maybe concentrate on what was important. But it is what it is. All right. The National Guard says troops have been activated in all states, with 1,000 expected to be on duty by the end of the day in various states. And I love this. Barron Trump, turns out he's just as big a troll as his dad. This is awesome. Hillary Clinton wrote this. Everyone from the president on down needs to be focused on two things. One, how to prevent the spread of this virus as much as possible. And two, how to support state and local officials, hospitals, doctors, and nurses so they can take care of the seriously ill. Now, Barron Trump responds to that on Twitter. You gotta love that guy. I mean, he says, hey, Hillary, the coronavirus is going to testify against you. Work your magic and suicide it. That's smart. I mean, really. Yes. I mean, yeah. Couldn't we just say that the virus was going to testify against her? He'd be dead and gone in no time. Well, you know it's true. All right. Let's come down here. Now, this says just a reminder that 528 of the 647 total cases, there are more cases than that now, 647 total cases in the USA are of unknown or unconfirmed origin, further proving that this is rapidly spreading under the radar. And can you believe it? Can you believe it? In a country of 320 million people, I think it's 327 million people, on the brink of an epidemic disaster, the US CDC has tested just 77 people this week. Just 77. Digest that. South Korea tested 10,000 every day at the peak of the COVID-19 outbreak. Now, I will say that the CDC was never meant to do large-scale testing. So the answer to this isn't in faulting the CDC. It's in faulting the fact that we need those tests out, like in the hospitals, in clinics, everywhere. They need to be out out there, not at the CDC. They don't have time to test millions of people. All right. Now, okay, we already read that. Never mind. Okay, now all the graphs suggest that Britain and France and Germany are going to be exactly where Italy is in about 10 days' time. That is very disconcerting, but it only makes sense, right? It makes sense. And we're going to be exactly where Italy was or is. A few weeks' time, and maybe not even that long. Okay. And University of Texas president's wife has the virus. If anything, they lived in luxury. This is going to decimate those living in poverty, crammed millions in a city. Yes, it will. And worst struck Dutch town, Tilburg Main Hospital, randomly tested. I think we looked at this before, but I'll say it again. Tested 301 employees who have not been to risk areas or been in contact with COVID-19 patients. 28 of them tested positive. Now, this is a good reminder because I don't know if you're having a hard time finding this, I would imagine, because it's gone up here. And it was just a couple weeks ago where you could find masks everywhere. Not now. But if you need to, hydrogen peroxide is just as effective as hand sanitizer if supplies are low. So if you don't have any hand sanitizer, go get some hydrogen peroxide, which is cheaper anyway, and also the rubbing alcohol. You can sterilize your hands with that. So yeah, if where you shop is out of hand sanitizer, don't panic. You can make do with other items. It's convenient to have the hand sanitizer, but all right. And several Wall Street employees test positive for coronavirus. Not good. Denmark from 90 confirmed to 262 in 24 hours. Italy reports 250 new deaths and 2,547 new cases, raising total to 1,266 dead and 17,660 cases. So this thing just snowballs. It's like you hear of one or two in a country, and then suddenly there's 10, and then suddenly there's 100, then suddenly there's 1,000. Like it explodes. Now, this is interesting. France, young people without comorbidities in serious condition in ICU. Another concern, this time new, the profile of people admitted to intensive care is changing. Just 2 or 3 days ago, the men and women who came to these services for respiratory distress were mainly frail, elderly, and already sick people. Now, they are no longer the only ones. It is no longer rare to see young people aged 30 or 40 without pathology, says Gilles Pialou. This is the reality on the ground. The circle widens. As proof, 86% of patients who died from the flu in France between 2011 and 2019 were over 75 years old, compared to 50% for the deaths of COVID-19 in China. Joined, Catherine, the first name has been changed, a nurse in a hospital, confirms we have young people with no medical history in very serious condition. So if you think you're going to avoid this because you're young, I'm sorry, you can get it too. And that's why we all need to be taking precautions. Nobody's telling you to be in fear and stay trembling in your home. No, but use precaution. If you go out, wear a mask, wear gloves. Even if you're pumping gas, you should put gloves on. How many people have touched that gas pump? Or sanitize your hands afterwards. And don't forget your fingers, because a lot of people put a dab here and they go like this. Well, you need to get your fingers where everything touches. So we need to be doing that. But anyway, in his televised address this Thursday evening, Emmanuel Macron said, we must prepare for a second wave that will affect a little later younger people who are a priority, less exposed to the disease, but will also need to be treated. How to explain it? The question remains. Why some people draw the wrong card from the serious form, we don't know. That doesn't even make sense to me. But it probably was written in French and then transcribed to English. So that's probably why it doesn't make sense. All right. Well, most of it does. The bottom part doesn't. All right, and this person, I agree totally, says, I am deeply concerned about Canada. Oh my gosh, a yawn tried to come out. I know you guys are yawning. I'm deeply concerned about Canada. Canada is denying the facts. Oh, they sure are. PM Justin Trudeau is not being tested because he shows no symptoms. The CDC here boldly denies asymptomatic spread and aerosol spread. How can you contain something when you deny what it is? Well, Canada's so used to lying to its people that it probably is not even capable of telling the truth. Really, how can they deny that it's spread by aerosol, meaning that you're breathing it out, people catch it? How are they denying that? Because it's Canada and they lie to their people. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. They and China have something very close in common. Anyway, Canadian CDC and government will see more infections than any other country per capita with this mentality. I'm horrified. I am too. It's around this area. So yeah, I'm concerned, and I'm extra concerned when they appear so absolutely, well, I was going to say a word that I'm not going to say. But anyway, I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely asinine. Seems most Canadians don't care either. Good job, guys. Seriously, you cannot get a bucket of water if you deny the facts of what water is. Canada is basically saying we bought wicker baskets to collect the water. It's not a liquid and will be contained in the basket. Why deny what the virus is? Aerosol and asymptomatic spread are well known, peer-reviewed, studied. But yet, Canada denies that. They're probably the only government that is denying it at this point. I'm sorry if I appear angry. I am angry. I've got elderly parents that are at risk. I have friends that I love, as do you. And, you know, they're absolute... I don't even know how to describe their behavior. I mean, it's asinine, but it's beyond that. Anyway, let's just wish it away. Let's just all sit here and wish it away. And this person's right. If they're denying what it is, how can they contain it? If they're denying, oh, no, 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 it's not spread that way. Not spread. No, not by aerosol. No, no. And if you don't have any symptoms, you don't have the virus. That's it. That's what we said. So that's the law. Do you think the CV is gonna listen to that and go, oh, I'm in Canada, I better not spread. I better not spread until this person starts showing symptoms, and then I'll start shedding off and spreading. Oh, wait, I'm in Canada. Oh, well, in Canada you can breathe on people, but they won't get it because, they have to abide by what the Prime Minister and the CDC here say. Yeah. There's different laws to the universe in Canada. Did you know that? Yes, absolutely. Anyway, I'm surprised they don't deny gravity. I'm surprised they don't tether us all so we don't float off into the wild blue yonder there, But yeah. Anyway, Miami mayor tests positive for CV after event with Brazil President Bolsonaro. Miami Herald, March 13th. So it seems like there's a lot of people that are heads of things getting this virus. Now, whether it's a cover for something else, I don't know, but there really is a virus. If you're denying that, you're just denying reality. Okay. And let's look at this. U.S. isn't prepared for outbreak. This is a coronavirus winter, and we're in the first week, disease specialist says. I think we looked at this before. In fact, I know we did, so I'm not going to read it again. But here's the thing also. A lot of people are saying, oh, don't worry, when the summer comes, it'll be gone. They've already proven that the virus can survive up to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I don't think any of us in America or Canada are at above, well, maybe in the desert or someplace. I guess there are a few places in the US where it might get up to that. But generally, it doesn't get up to 140 degrees. So summer is not going to do anything to it. And if it did, why is the virus in Australia? You know how hot Australia is. It's still spreading around there. People are saying stupid things, and you need to really pay attention to what is happening in the rest of the world. And I mean, I know people are saying, oh, they're hyping it. Yeah, for good reason. For good reason they're hyping it. Like, if there was a lion loose in your neighborhood, and the news stations were saying, oh, don't go outside until they've caught this. Don't go outside. And you go outside and you're eaten by a lion. Would you say that they were overhyping it? Probably not. All right. That's not where I want to be. Let me see. Let's go back. Here we are. Norway reported 133 new cases of CV today, raising the country's total to 360. And sick people across the U.S. say they are being denied the CV test. And they are. Not good. And let me see. Poland, 68 cases, continues further lockdown. Polish PM announces closed borders, denies entry for foreigners, shuts down bars, restaurants, malls, and public gatherings. And Trudeau says government considering closing border to stop spread of COVID-19. Well, yeah, okay, well, they'll close the border, and maybe that's a good thing because it's been open. I mean, everybody's here. They were even allowing flights from Iran. But yeah, now he's considering closing the border. It's a little late now, but yeah, but they still deny it's spread that it's aerosolized and that you can spread it and not have any symptoms yourself. They're still denying that. Yeah. Okay. New York State now has the most CV cases in the U.S. as new cases jump 30% overnight to 421. And this is very interesting and important. CV stability, 3 hours in aerosol. So if you cough or you're breathing, it remains in the air for 3 hours. You can infect someone if you are infected and you're breathing, and if you're alive and you have it, you're breathing. So yeah, it stays in the air for 4 hours. Now, on copper, and this is good because people are saying that copper, helps in some ways, like they're suggesting copper lined masks and so forth. 4 hours on copper. So if you touch copper and somebody else touches it, within 4 hours, they could get it, but after that, it's gone. But on cardboard, 24 hours, 2 to 3 days on plastic and steel. That's a lot. And 24 hours on cardboard. Let's say somebody has CV and they go into the grocery store and they're looking at cereal boxes and they pick one up and they read the back and they put that back. No, I don't want that one. I'll take this one. Well, and you come along, innocent you, and you think, oh, that cereal looks good. Let me take that. Well, if you've touched that cereal and then put your hands anywhere near your face, well, you've got it. So that's why we have to be extra careful. Like I have a bad habit of having my hands around my mouth and my face. And I'm really trying now to break that. I've really been watching myself and washing my hands whenever I touch anything, except for my cats. But I wash my hands generally after touching them anyway. But all right, and let's look at this. Because we can. And we are. Some recovered patients may have reduced lung function and are left gasping for air while walking briskly, Hong Kong doctors find. So it's not just having the virus and surviving it, it causes lasting damage. Hospital Authority releases its findings after observing the first group of discharged CV patients. Some patients might have a drop of about 20 to 30% in lung function, says medical director of Infectious Disease Center at Princess Margaret Hotel. Some patients who recovered from COVID-19 have suffered reduced lung function and now experience problems such as gasping for air when walking quickly. Hong Kong's Hospital Authority has revealed. The authority released its findings on Thursday after observing the first group of discharged coronavirus patients. The city so far has recorded 131 confirmed cases of CV, including 3 fatalities. Of them, 74 patients have been discharged, while 1 probable CV case has also recovered. Dr. Owen Tsang Tak-yin, medical director of the authority's Infectious Disease Center at Princess Margaret Hospital in Kwai Kung, said doctors had already seen around a dozen discharged patients in follow-up appointments. 2 to 3 were unable to do things as they had in the past. They gasp if they walk a bit more quickly. Tsang told a media briefing on Thursday some patients might have around a drop of 20 to 30% in lung function after recovery. Tsang, who also heads an authority task force on the clinical management of infection, said these patients would undergo tests to determine how much lung function they still had. Physiotherapy would also be arranged to strengthen their lungs. A review of lung scans of the 9 infected patients at Princess Margaret found patterns similar to frosted glass in all of them, suggesting there was organ damage. But Tsang said that long-term effect on recovered patients, such as whether they would develop pulmonary fibrosis, a condition where lung tissue hardened and the organ could not function properly, had yet to be ascertained. He said discharged patients could do cardiovascular exercise such as swimming to help the lungs recover gradually. The city's public hospitals are about to conduct clinical trials on I'm not sure how you pronounce that, a drug originally developed to treat Ebola to see how effective it is on COVID-19. Dusang said the drug had been delivered to hospitals. Doctors would begin identifying suitable patients to join the trials, which were expected to begin the middle of this month. He stressed that the drug could lead to some complications, such as affecting liver function and leading to inflammation of the blood vessels. CV patients are being treated with Caltera, a drug originally for HIV/AIDS, ribavirin, which was also used for hepatitis C, and interferon. All right. So just because if you get the virus and you live through it and you recover, you're not out of the woods, unfortunately. All right. Now, let's go back and let's look at this. France reported 785 new cases and 18 new deaths. Total confirmed cases reached 3,661 and 79 dead. Canada shuts Parliament. Trudeau in quarantine, no travel. And what the hell has happened to Spain? It's as if they have exploded. They have reported over 2,080 cases today and 47 deaths. So 2,080 new cases today and 47 deaths in Spain. Mexican stock market president, the Mexican stock market's president tests positive for coronavirus. And look at this. The UK has stopped all testing for new cases, which is a little scary. UK has stopped all testing for new cases in the community. What that means and why it matters. The UK has officially moved into the delay phase of the CV response, whilst acknowledging that true number of cases may be over 5 figures in the community. Overall, this new phase seems to be a case of far too little, far too late, but concerning is a shift in policy around SARS-CoV-2 testing. The new testing criteria and methods for SARS and CoV-2 in the UK, there will now be a shift in testing. The contain phase was about isolating individual cases, getting a diagnosis, and then contact tracing the people that they had spent time with and asking them to self-isolate. Many people will no longer be tested if they are showing mild symptoms. Instead, those with the most serious symptoms will be given a blood test in a hospital, and the NHS will move into a phase of prioritizing the most seriously ill. In short, this means that there will be no more community testing and no more formal contact tracing of known cases. Just let that sink in for a minute. That is monumental. As someone who has been very active on this sub over the last few weeks, this strikes me as total effing insanity, and I actually had to go and find multiple sources before I'd even believe it hadn't been simply misquoted. From where I'm standing, this is an obvious attempt by the UK government to minimize damage to the economy by reducing the official number of cases whilst delaying the move to lockdown and quarantine until the last possible moment. This will cost lives. Of course it will. So, wow. No, I don't have, well, I don't know, but I'm assuming that I don't have it. I sneeze a lot. Okay, so no identification of contagious pre-symptomatic cases in the community will allow this highly contagious virus to spread unhindered. And I think that's what they want. I really do, because it's reducing population. And those that want the New World Order need to reduce the population because there's too many people to be able to control. Taiwan and Korea have a cheap 15-minute test that a nurse can administer in the same ward. Blood drawing testing takes more time, effort, and equipment. It's more messy, ties up more staff, and is not always positive as the virus lives in respiratory tract and the lungs. This shift in testing method will cause a lot of false negatives, as we saw in China with similar testing. This will only serve to reduce the number of confirmed cases in the UK. Well, isn't that convenient? Blood testing is labor intensive and requires more staff, more time, and infected materials will be moved around the hospital, unlike with the new Taiwan and Korea tests. Because some SARS-CoV-2 carriers, especially children, can carry the virus for as much as 37 days with no apparent symptoms, or more likely with no symptoms requiring hospital care, the virus will be free to spread around the community as more of these individuals go unidentified. Because official numbers will remain low, businesses and public services will delay closure and contribute to the increased spread of the virus. Government will use the low official numbers and missed deaths due to unreliable testing methods to delay imposing community quarantines and lockdowns, thus contributing to increased spread of the CV domestically and abroad and more resultant deaths. And notice that even though Trump shut down travel to Europe, he didn't shut it down to the UK. And that is where one of the places I would be the most concerned with, among others, any of the hotspots. But why is it still open to the UK? I would love to know that, because the way they are dealing with this is not wise. And I can't say that the US is much wiser, or Canada is much wiser in what they're doing. It's like they want it to spread. I'm just saying. So the government will use low official numbers and we already read that. Faster spread of the CV will lead to more symptomatic cases requiring hospitalization in UK at any given moment, causing hospital capacity to be maxed out, leaving many to die at home, as we have seen in Wuhan and Italy outbreaks. Non-COVID-19 related hospital admissions will be impossible in much of the UK, causing more indirect deaths of elderly and infirm. Essentially, these new measures will do exact opposite of delaying the outbreak and instead contribute to the explosion of cases in the UK. Why would the government do this? That's a good question. In my opinion, I'm hearing my phone in the other room, and I changed my ringtone to a cow mooing, and it's so realistic. And so it scares me every time it goes off because I hear this cow. Anyway. I just heard it in the other room. I don't know if you guys heard it, but it was a cow. Essentially these, where was I? In my opinion, important caveat, and I'm sure that many on this sub, they are going to do this. They are doing this to minimize the duration of economic depression due to the SARS-CoV outbreak. The downside of this is that many more people in the UK may die unnecessarily, as UK healthcare capacity, 0.24% of the population to 0.006% ICU capacity, struggles to cope with a massive influx of severe and critical cases, which are 20% of all CV cases. Can't say that about the flu. Nope. Can you imagine if 20% of all flu cases required hospitalization? Wow. Every year the hospitals would be absolutely overrun. All right. So, yeah. So this is without intervention. And see the following for an illustration, bell curves courtesy of US CDC of the probable effects of this change to testing. UK is currently shaping up to be the gold bell curve. This is without intervention, and this is with intervention, and there would be much fewer deaths with intervention, obviously. Yeah, hard to convince me that they're not doing this on purpose when you see things like that, because it's beyond stupid. Like, honestly, I think probably if you presented all the information to a 10-year-old, they would make better decisions. Honestly, I'm quite convinced of it. All right. Now, let's look at this. Small but unusual uptick, in hospitalizations for influenza-like illness last week. Last time a wow increase happened. What does wow stand for? I'm not sure. Happened this late was 2010 to 2011. So let's look at this. They're seeing, this is the 2019 to 2020 season, and look, it's got much, well, this season was pretty high too, but this is really, yeah. So I think what they're trying to say is that perhaps some of these, influenza-like illnesses are actually CV that are going undetected. Now, this from Mike Baker: a child in Rhode Island has tested positive for CV after getting an autograph from one of the NBA players who has also contracted the virus. Yeah, that is very sad. Very, very sad. I think probably children stand a better chance of recovery, but I don't know. I don't know the statistics there. All right. Second person who was with Trump at Mar-a-Lago last weekend has tested positive for CV. So, yeah, I hope and I pray that Trump is okay, that he does not have this. This week, I think we already read that. We have. Okay, and Louisiana has only tested 64 people with 33 positives. 64 people with 33 positives. And newborn baby tests positive for CV at London Hospital. Now, I would like to know if the baby contracted it after it was born or it contracted it within the womb. Is that possible? I don't know. And this is very important. Trump declares Sunday a national day of prayer amid the CV crisis, tweeting, "No matter where you may be, I encourage you to turn toward prayer in an act of faith. Together, we will easily prevail." Now, that is the wisest thing we can do. I'm not saying that we should pray and not prepare and not take any of the other, I'm saying sorry to the microphone when really I'm saying sorry to you because I hit the microphone. I'm not saying, that no other measures need to be taken, but prayer, I myself have seen the effectiveness of it. I have actually myself witnessed miracles in my life when I've been in situations where only a miracle could help me, and I've seen it. So anyway. Okay, a hospital in Seattle area has sent out a note to staff suspending elective surgery and warning that our local CV trajectory is likely to be similar to that of northern Italy. The hospital is down to a 4-day supply of gloves. Yeah, I've looked everywhere here for gloves. Can't find them. Senator Ted Cruz to extend his self-quarantine after finding out he met with someone else who now has CV. Any country that looks at the experience of other countries with large epidemics and think that it won't happen to us is making a deadly mistake. I would agree. Absolutely. You can't look at what's happening in other countries and going, it's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's not coming here. Come on. It's just the flu. Really? You ever seen mass graves dug for the flu? Really? I'm just saying. Okay, now let's come down here. Stranger Things shut down due to CV. Netflix halts all film and TV production in US and Canada. Denmark is closing all its borders from tomorrow which would be March 14th, at 12 o'clock. No tourists in, and only Danish citizens can enter the country. And Australian MP Peter Dutton has been diagnosed with COVID. We already looked at that. He met with Ivanka Trump and AG Barr 6 days ago. And Comcast and T-Mobile to suspend internet data caps for the next 60 days. Nice of them. CV, think warmer weather will kill the outbreak. Well, it hasn't in Australia, and it won't. So everyone that's hoping that, oh, it's going to kill it off as soon as the warm weather comes. Don't think so. TSA will allow 12 ounces of carry-on hand sanitizer as CV spreads. Wouldn't catch me on an airplane right now until this is over. And more countries and overseas territories reporting their first cases. Gabon, Ghana, Trinidad and Tobago, Kazakhstan, Kosovo, Suriname, Aruba, Guadeloupe, Cayman Islands. So they're all reporting their first cases, and also Uruguay, Venezuela, Guatemala, Kenya, Sudan, and Ethiopia. So I don't know how many countries it's in, but it's in a lot. So please, please, please take this seriously and protect yourself, protect your family, because if they're not doing the testing, which they haven't been, it is circulating undetected because it takes a long time to start exhibiting symptoms. And people may be sick and just think, oh, I've got the flu, and they're out and about picking up things and doing whatever. Stay safe, wear a mask. Okay, if people make fun of you or whatever, oh well. I mean, I know it is a little embarrassing going around with a mask. It is. I agree. And, you know, I mean, if I could find some gloves, I'd be wearing gloves too, because I don't want it. And the thing is, I'm not even that worried about myself. I'm worried about my elderly parents. I don't want them to get it. I don't want to be taking it to them. And like I told them actually today, no more grocery stores for you. None. Because my stepfather, my father, I consider him a father, he has diminished lung capacity as it is. He's got terrible lungs, and he just about died from pneumonia a few months back. So, and my mom broke her hip, so he's been getting the groceries, and I said, no, I'll get your groceries from now on. I don't want you guys out there. And when things ramp up a little bit more, I'll be just leaving them on their porch for them, because I don't want them to be sick. And we have like the worst hospital here, probably one of the worst in Canada. And we do have some good hospitals around the area, but they're a bit of a drive. And so I want to take all the precautions I can on behalf of them. So, and I certainly, I don't want it either. So, and I'm sure you don't either. So please protect yourself, protect your family. And there are small things you can be doing, like sanitize your hands. Don't touch, like, especially if you're in a public bathroom, don't touch the door handles. Wash your hands, use a paper towel to open the handles and whatever. Don't be touching things like computer screens. Like I know McDonald's has that thing where you can order on the screen, and they say that is one of the dirtiest places, that those screens are so germy. So if you're going to touch something like that, use a napkin or something to protect your fingers, so it, you don't know what people have that are touching those things. And just pay attention, be diligent. We'll all get through this. It's not the end of the world. Now, it seems like it. It seems like it to those people that are in quarantine and are bored out of their skulls and, whatever. But we'll get through this. It'll pass. Everything always passes. So just hang tight. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I just want people to prepare. I would feel awful if a regular listener of this program died from CV. I would feel awful. So I feel that I know that there are a lot of people out there saying, oh, don't worry about it. It's nothing. Blah, blah, blah. Well, okay. Well, tell that to all the people that have died in Italy and Iran and China and all these other places. Tell it to them that it's no big deal. So there you go. All right, well, that's it for tonight, and it's after midnight, so it's now the 14th. So I'll be back later today, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, to bring you another video. All right, so who knows? It's like every day is so packed with news that it's hard to, and it seems like this news is, you know, taking the top priority for everyone because it's on everybody's mind. So anyway, I will be back tomorrow. Well, today, actually, I'll be back today and tomorrow. So there you go. All right, guys, please, please, please stay safe, stay well, stay blessed. And, you know, pray for the president. If you are a believer, pray for the president, pray for your family. We may, if it's not, I hope it wouldn't offend people, but I would like to possibly end the broadcast on this with prayer. I'm not going to tonight, but let me know what you guys think of that. Is that something you want, or would that be a reason to not listen? Because I want people prepared and I want them to hear the headlines that are happening. So if that's going to cause people to not listen to what I'm saying, then that's kind of counterproductive. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm very, very thankful for you guys. Really, I am. You are the sweetest people. And I just want you all to be safe. So good night, guys. I will talk to you later today, and I'm off to go get some shut-eye. All right. Oops. I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't know in the last video. I still don't know.